Hello there, reason people, PoohBear here, and welcome to my channel. And today we're going to be talking about the Distributor. It's only a high-level overview of this device. It's to do with my mini modular, obviously, setup. And in the next video, I'm going to be looking to build a Modular system. And the Distributor is absolutely brilliant for converting either MIDI or sequential data into CV. Yeah, we've been using the HAMU because the HAMU is nice and free, and the Distributor does everything that the HAMU does. And you might be thinking, well, if the Distributor does everything what the HAMU does, then why not just use the HAMU? It's because of the way it handles the data. So one thing I haven't probably touched on, I know I did do my MIDI normal CV and data to Poly, and one thing I didn't explain really, especially in this particular device, the difference between the two is when it does Poly, it does something which is called round robin. And the other difference is when to use Poly and when to use standard. Because you might think, well, but you might want to use standard all the time, or maybe you want to use Poly all the time. Actually, or the Poly with the round robin. There is actually a difference when you should think about using the different type of MIDI data or CV note data. Like with this particular one, this always goes to the lowest note. So if I was playing a key and let go and I played a key, it'll play on here. So if I was to hold down two keys, it'll play 1 and 2. And if I was to let number 2 down and I was to hold down another key, it'll go back to number 1. So it always plays the lowest one first. It's a sort of equivalent of having this continuous off, and I think the reset has to be on to make this one work in that kind of mode. And that works brilliantly for something like a bass. So what that means is your bass won't ever get full or muddy down at the lower end because you're reusing the notes. So you're going to go over the voice. So you're reusing the voices so it doesn't build up that sound. However, in a round robin mode, that works really brilliantly for things like strings or anything that's got a nice long tail on it. So when you play another key, it doesn't cut that last one off. It lets it continue through its full cycle and it goes through. However, with a lot of the free devices, the way it will go around, if I was to hold down 8 keys, when you obviously play your ninth, it'll overwrite the first one. Same with this. However, with these devices and the other free ones, if I was to hold down 3 keys on this one, and I can actually do it, so let me just hold down a chord. Let's make sure we got that highlighted. You can see I've lit up 3 lights. Now, if I was to play a new key and a new key and a new key, this is the round robin bit. But when it gets back to number 1, you can see it's jumped to the next free available one and left these ones running. Whereas this system doesn't. It'll actually overwrite number 1 again and then number 2. So it doesn't kind of honor anything which is being held down. And this is obviously makes a humongous difference because obviously it allows you to play chords and a melody at the same time, what a lot of us like to do with our sounds. Whereas these don't really work that well compared to this device. There's lots of other little functionalities on this device, like you can actually, like this would obviously be playing single notes. If I was to put it on double, it'll actually play 2 voices at a time. I can do 4, or I can do all 8. Obviously, if I'm doing all 8, it makes it a monophonic playing, so I can only play 1 note at a time, but I can have 8 voices. And as I say, that one will be 2 notes, but 4 voices each, and 4 notes, 2, and obviously that would be 8 single notes. The wiring on the back is pretty similar. However, it does have a lot of other extra outs on it. So each one of these is obviously equivalent to this. And there's this poly mode here. So if I was to flip it into poly mode, where we had just our poly mode note and gate, it has it here, but each one of these become poly. So it's not just a single one, they're all suddenly become poly. And you can easily switch it back and forth. And it's got some nice extra inputs as well. So as I said, this is just really more of a very, very basic overview of this device, and it makes a massive difference. So let's actually see if we can actually hear the difference. It might not sound so well over on YouTube, but the big difference is when you're using this device over this device, especially when you're using the poly mode, if you play the same note fast, because it's not cutting off the old one, you can get a slight phasing issue coming in. I'm not going to say, sorry, a phasing issue. No. A phasing sound coming, which actually can be quite pleasant. Sometimes you don't want it. Sometimes it's actually quite nice the way it can bubble up. Whereas obviously, if we're in this particular mode here, let's say we can turn continuous off and continuous off. Yeah, you don't get it because you're always overwriting that voice. Let's just hear a couple of little examples. And the other thing I haven't really mentioned is Distributor. It is only £8. It is nice and cheap. I've used this device because it's been around for absolutely years to drive my graphics program. So I was actually outputting stuff because obviously I can output stuff individually. I know I can here, but I say it's the way it manages that input, which makes it absolutely brilliant. And you can also buy this part of the Poly system, what Blandsoft do. And I think the current price is £26 for this, to include this one. So they do two different versions of the Poly system, one where they don't include this and one where they do, and it's like £3 extra for the one they don't to get this device. And the Poly system is well worth it because the filter in that is absolutely brilliant. It's got an excellent envelope generator, and it also comes with an amp. Well, you might say, well, I've got a mixing channel, but the amp you can think of as the minute 8 lots of the VCAs. Because obviously you can actually input envelope data to control it. So you can control it as 8 VCAs into one unit. And that's what the great thing about the Poly system. It's very small footprint in the rack to having an 8-voice polyphonic synth, and it's a true 8-voice polyphonic synth as well. And as I say, in the next video I'm going to be doing, we are going to be building again a true voice polyphonic synth with well, basically what we've been doing over the last several episodes. Anyway, so let's just carry on and just have a quick listen to the differences in this one. So very quickly in this test, what this button here is going to do is switch between our normal gate and note CV. And when we're in this mode, you're only going to ever see it come up on one channel, because I'm going to be pressing one key. Obviously, when we're in the poly rotate mode, we're going to be using the distributor, and you're going to obviously see each voice play the same. I'm only going to be playing, as I say, one note, and you can hear the difference. The biggest difference in this mode, as I said, you can start to hear a bit of phasing with certain things. With this particular sound, what you're going to hear is a big difference is when I'm in have poly off, i.e. I'm using this mode here, it's going to sound a lot louder. And the reason it's going to sound louder is because the gate, the envelope is not actually closing itself off, because I'm hitting another gate straight away, and it's keeping that envelope open a lot more. Whereas obviously here you're going to see a lot lower level throughout, because each one's going to have chance for its envelope to fully finish off. So when I hit a new note, you're going to see, well, it's going to come up from the original attack. So this is missing the attack, where these won't be missing when I'm playing that instrument. So let's first of all just turn it off. So we're going to be here in this mode first. And I'm going to switch it on. You can hear that subtle difference in the sound. Now on this one over here, it's exactly the same sound. The difference is I've actually set it up so this particular, I know it says poly mode, it's going to be switching between this poly mode and this poly mode. So this is what I meant by, so at the moment, if I hold this key down and I press some of the keys, you can see we're starting to do a round robin. And it's killed that note off, even though I'm holding it down. And this is this poly mode here. So if I was now to switch it on, so we're now using the distributor. Again, let's hold that key down. You can see it's left it on and it didn't overwrite it. Yeah, so that's using that poly mode now, and it's just killed the notes. So that's obviously a great benefit of the Distributor. As I say, it's the way it manages the notes. And as you also heard here, there's a big difference between using these two. But as I say, this is great for basses, so you don't get all that muddy sound sort of building up. And the poly sounds obviously absolutely all around. The rotary round robin mode works brilliantly for when you've got a long release. As I say, I just wanted to quickly mention this before we go into build our fully modular system. However, the mini modular system we're building, it's that flexible that you can actually switch these devices in and out really quickly just by a couple of wires. So it doesn't matter if you wired it up this end and then you put this in later. It's a case of just changing 2 wires because of the way I've actually built it. So it makes it very easy and flexible to do. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.